Have you ever wondered how people can actually focus and work for hours or just 1 hour or 3 hours without getting distracted? Well, this is actually the purpose of this video. And I saw this video, and before I actually go check it out, I wanted to record myself and see if it actually works out. So I'm gonna discuss with you guys and let me know what you guys think about this type of video. If I should do more or if I should do less of it. Yes? Let's go dive in.
Most people think this magical thing called flow state, that feeling where you're unstoppable, laser focused, and time disappears, is reserved for professional athletes, world-class musicians, or genius inventors. But that belief is dead wrong. Flow state isn't magic. It's not something that only the elite can access. In fact, science shows it's simply the result of specific, repeatable conditions, which means if you understand the formula, you can trigger flow anytime you want. Yes, you watching this video can get into the zone as easily as an Olympic sprinter or a top chess player. Let me show you how. Flow is not random. It's been studied for decades. The psychologist Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi spent his career researching what he called optimal experience. And what he found is that flow consistently appears when certain conditions are met. Let me give you a picture. Imagine you're playing piano. If the piece is way too easy, you get bored and check out. If the piece is insanely hard, you get frustrated and quit. But when the music is just challenging enough to stretch you, but still within your skill level, you become completely absorbed. That's flow. Another example, video games. Ever wondered why games are so addictive? They're literally designed to keep you in flow. The levels get gradually harder as your skills improve. Clear goals, instant feedback, the right level of challenge. That's the flow formula in action. So the myth is, flow is mystical, rare, and reserved for the gifted. The truth.
I agree. I would have to agree. The truth is, let's figure out what the truth is. Let's see. We're gonna watch the whole video and then we're gonna discuss what we think about it and if it actually, is true.
Flow is systematic, repeatable, and available to anyone who knows the formula. But knowing this truth is only the beginning. Let's talk about the actual ingredients. There are 5 essential ingredients. Miss one, and you'll probably miss flow. Nail them all, and flow practically takes care of itself. Ingredient 1, clear, actionable goals. Your brain hates vagueness. Saying, I'm going to work on my project is useless, but saying, I'm going to write 200 words of my introduction paragraph is crystal clear. Flow requires focus, and focus requires clarity. Pro tip, before every work session, write down a single, measurable goal on a sticky note and keep it in sight. But even the clearest goals are worthless if the task itself doesn't push you into that sweet spot. Ingredient 2, the challenge skill balance. This is the heart of flow. If something is too easy, you feel bored. If it's too hard, you feel anxious. But in that sweet spot, just hard enough to stretch you without breaking you, you enter flow. Ask yourself, does this task feel like a 7 out of 10 in difficulty? That's where you want to be. But here's the catch. Having the right challenge still won't matter if you keep getting yanked out of focus every 5 minutes. Ingredient 3, eliminate distractions. Flow is fragile. A single notification can pull you out, and it can take 20 minutes to get back in. Phones off, tabs closed, noise minimized. Think of it like creating a force field around your attention. Ingredient 4, ritual and environment. Your brain loves cues. That's why musicians have pre-show rituals and athletes have warm-ups. You need your own flow ritual. Maybe it's making a cup of coffee, putting on the same playlist, or lighting a candle. When you do it consistently, your brain learns, oh, this is focus time. Ingredient 5, intrinsic motivation. Flow thrives on meaning. If you're doing something only because your boss told you to, it's harder to get in the zone. But if you connect it to your own growth, curiosity, or future, you'll find flow easier. Put all 5 together, and you've built the foundation for flow. But here's the thing, knowing the ingredients is like having a map without a compass. You've got the terrain, but without direction, you'll still get lost. And that's exactly what we'll cover next. All right, let's get practical.
Okay, so they just went through the 5 stages of flow state, and now they're going to actually explain how it's done. I'm actually curious because, they were talking. I'm actually right now at, just for myself, I'm at 3 minutes, 13 seconds. But yeah, so what I'm curious about is how they're going to go deeper or actually try to simplify it for, myself or anybody that's watching. And if I can actually apply it. The one thing that I took out so far is that if you map out everything and simplify it, so if you say, for example, you're going to do this specific thing for this amount of hours, you're actually most likely to do that for that specific hours and do that specific task. So I agree with that part. I think I would have to rewatch this video one more time to try to get all the knowledge because it's going by super fast. But let's proceed.
skeptical. Here's a step-by-step ritual you can use to enter flow anytime. Think of it like your personal launch sequence. Step 1. Decide what you're doing. Set one clear goal. Clear your desk, silence your phone, close extra tabs. Pick a time block.
Okay, but it says turn off your phone, clean your desk, and pick a time block. I think those are really good points. I mean, they're just pretty simple, but it makes sense. If you have a clean desk, if you have everything organized around you, the only thing you're going to focus on next is to do the task. That's just, for example, of course, your desk. But if you do anything in life, if you do it structured to a certain extent, it will go good. That's what I'm getting from it so far. But let's proceed.
30 minutes, 60 minutes, or 90 minutes. Step 2. Now create a ritual that signals the start. Maybe it's 3 deep breaths. Maybe it's opening your notebook and writing the date. Maybe it's playing a specific song. The ritual itself doesn't matter. It's the consistency. Over time,
The one thing that I'm getting so far, they just said use a ritual or create a ritual for yourself. I agree with that because you need like a spark to start doing something. And I feel like if that, like they just mentioned, whether it be music, walking, running, anything else to try to get you in the zone, do that. So I think that's really good.
your brain will learn, when I do this, focus begins. Step 3. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait to feel ready. Just do the tiniest action. Write one sentence. Solve one problem. Draw one line. The brain loves momentum, and starting small.
What they just said, I cannot agree more. So when you are doing something, it doesn't matter if it's a small task, if it's just one step, as long as you have momentum, like they literally just said, you're going the right direction. So I have to give it to them. Yeah, that's true.
Removes resistance. Step 4. Once you're in, commit to single tasking. No switching, no checking. Stay with the task, even if it feels clumsy at first. Flow usually shows up after 10 to 15 minutes, not instantly. But if you stick with it, it will come. Step 5. Don't burn out. Stop while you still have energy. A pro trick: leave a sentence unfinished or a problem half done. That way, when you come back, your brain instantly re-enters flow by picking up the thread. This ritual is simple, but it's powerful. And if you repeat it enough, your brain will start slipping into flow almost automatically. What you do after flow matters just as much as what you do during it. So let's talk about the one ingredient almost nobody thinks about: recovery.
The one ingredient that nobody talks about, or recovery. I think that is important. So let's see what they're going to say.
Most people think the secret to more flow is to just push harder, grind longer, and stay locked in. But flow doesn't work like that. Flow is a peak state, and like any peak, it requires valleys. The science is clear. Your brain can't sprint forever. Neurochemicals like dopamine, norepinephrine, and endorphins flood your system when you're in flow. That's what makes it feel so amazing. But those chemicals don't stay high indefinitely. They need time to replenish. If you keep pushing without recovery, you don't just stall, you crash. Here's the counterintuitive truth: recovery isn't the enemy of flow, it's the fuel for it. Quality sleep is where your brain resets and builds the neural pathways that make flow easier next time. Movement, whether it's a workout, a walk, or even stretching, flushes stress and primes your nervous system for focus. Even boredom, those quiet moments where nothing is happening, actually recharge your attention span. That's why the best ideas often hit you in the shower, on a run, or right before sleep. Think of recovery as charging the battery that powers your deepest focus. Skip it, and you'll burn out before you ever get into the zone. But honor it. Build in cycles of rest, reflection, and renewal, and flow becomes easier, faster, and more sustainable. Over the long run, the people who master recovery aren't the ones who work the hardest in one sprint. They're the ones who stay in the game long enough to experience flow again and again. Now let me show you how to make flow state part of your life. Up to this point, we've been talking about flow as a tool, a way to get more done, stay focused, and feel better while working. But the truth is, flow can do more than help you finish a project. It can completely transform your life. Think about it. Most people drift through their days in distraction mode, checking their phone, half working, half resting, never fully present. Days blur into weeks, and nothing truly meaningful gets built. But when you start stacking flow sessions, something different happens. Your days stop feeling scattered. You start measuring time not in hours wasted, but in moments moments of deep immersion. Instead of life happening to you, you're living inside it fully. Flow rewires your brain. Each time you enter it, you train your attention to prefer depth over distraction. Your confidence grows because you're constantly proving to yourself that you can handle challenge, learn faster, and push through resistance. And your sense of meaning expands because flow connects you with the joy of growth. You stop just doing tasks and start experiencing life as a series of challenges that reveal your best self. And here's where it gets powerful. Flow isn't limited to work. You can bring it into fitness, relationships, creativity, even rest. Imagine workouts where time disappears and progress accelerates. Conversations where you're so present that the other person feels truly seen. Creative sessions where ideas pour out faster than you can capture them. Even walks, cooking, or hobbies can become flow experiences when you set the right conditions. So yes, flow makes you more productive, but more importantly, it makes life richer, fuller, and more alive. Because in the end, the goal isn't just to get into flow more often. The goal is to build a life where flow is the default, not the exception. Alright, let's recap. Flow isn't random. It's not mystical, it's systematic. The formula is simple. Clear goal, right challenge, no distractions. Consistent ritual. Protect it once you're in it. Follow this and you can enter flow anytime you want. Imagine how much faster you could learn, how much more you could create, how much lighter your work would feel if focus wasn't a fight, but a natural state you could step into whenever you chose. But here's the thing. Flow only works if you can actually focus long enough to get into it. And that's where most people struggle. That's why I made another video called
What I caught from this video, firsthand checking it out, is that the flow state is created by clarity, knowing what you're currently doing, knowing what your following task is, knowing where you're going, so sense of direction. So clarity, sense of direction, and making sure you recover. Those are the three main points that I was able to take out from the video itself, how that went. But all around, I think it was a really good educational video, and I think I'm going to review their video more often because I thought it was pretty interesting. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and until next time.